Hello, BioPhoenix.
Hey, what's good, everyone?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. I actually woke up a little bit later today than I would have liked, but it's whatever.
Yeah, how late?
Like, I woke up at like 10.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I do much on the weekends, but it's still just one of those times where I'm just like, oh.
Mm. Thanks for the list recommendation. That was a good idea.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, it was something I remember I did on my channel a while back. I took the PS1 iceberg thing, where basically it was like a list where they list out like a shit ton of PS1 games, and it goes from like the most popular, and then as it goes down, it goes to like the more like obscure stuff. It was pretty interesting.
Hmm. And how did you fare on the PS1 list?
I forget my exact results were, but I remember I did pretty damn good. Although I think I did mess up on like two of them, where I thought like I played one of them, but I didn't. But minus like those two. Gotta remember. Let me try and look for my video on that.
It was like which it was the same concept though, like which ones have you played?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was the ones that I've played.
Okay.
And then, of course, over each one, I would just talk a little bit about them. Yeah. But yeah, no, they have a lot of interesting lists on that website. They have like, like 1,000 like music albums that you must hear, and then there's like, like some of the best books or some of the best like movies, and you just like kind of just go through them all and all that.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It's a good way to get recommended a couple things.
Yeah, it is.
Bruno wants to know, did you watch the Canada game?
The Canada game?
I think he's talking about
No.
World Cup. It's like a big
Oh,
thing
World
right
Cup.
now.
Oh yeah, no, I don't really watch soccer. No, unfortunately.
I'm
I
not a
mean,
big
the only thing
soccer
I know
fan.
about with soccer with Canada is that apparently our women's team is like supposedly really good, but yeah, like other than that, I don't really know a whole lot else.
Soccer is just slow. Like I mean, like yeah, there's a lot happening on the field, but like I can't sit around and like wait 90 minutes for like nobody to possibly score.
Yeah, because the field is like so huge, right? It takes them like forever to get from like one end to the other.
Yeah, the final score in a soccer game is usually like 2-1. You know, it's like did I really watch all this for that? Like for that one moment? I guess you could say there's more build up, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that. Like I know with hockey, and yeah, I know me with hockey, her. But like when I used to watch hockey though, like I remember like the scores would always be like kind of interesting for the most part, like the way how it would like go about.
Hmm. What was it like watching hockey? Did you ever go to a match or anything?
I went to one when I was a teenager when my stepdad took me. It was with Ottawa Senators versus the Minnesota Wild. And I remember when we were first there, like the Minnesota, they were like scoring like I think like 3-0, but then like until at the very end, like we just like won by like two extra points, so it was like 5-3.
Was it like a lot of people like cheering and stuff and like a lot of
Oh yeah,
enthusiasm?
yeah, no, it was not bad. I mean, it was an experience, right? Like it's not something that I was like super thrilled by though, but I think when I look back on it, though, I can definitely say it was, a nice like little time that we had there.
Do you have like attachment to it as like a national sport?
Um, Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I never really grew up with a lot of sports, and like I said, like I did used to play hockey when I was younger, but I was just because that was just what a lot of people used to make me do. Like a lot of
Yeah.
like parents would always used to get their kids to get into hockey over here. It was just a common thing,
Hmm.
and you either stuck with it or you didn't.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm not big into the American sports per se, like the baseball or the American football, but I do enjoy like just I can watch like a Super Bowl, like a big sporting event or something, and then baseball. I actually like going to a baseball game. There's something fun about just kind of chilling, sitting back, seeing like the animations and stuff. It reminds me of bowling in a sense.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I've never went to a baseball game like ever,
Mm.
but I would imagine it probably would be a lot better though, for sure, rather than watching on a TV.
Toronto's got a pretty good team.
I've heard they do. Yeah, I think that's like really the only team we have.
Yeah, but they put fights up against the Yankees. I watched the Blue Jays and the Yankees fight or play against each other, and yeah, I think your team won, but
Oh, hey. But yeah, no, I know when like the last time I like really went into Toronto there, like when I was actually like walking around there, it like I remember like the Blue Jays were having their big game there, so I like saw like shit like everywhere.
mm, gotcha.
It was kind of interesting.
Bruno says Canada scored their first ever World Cup goal today against Croatia, but ended up losing 4-1.
Aw, damn it.
Yeah, the
That's okay,
European
though.
teams are doing really well from what I understand.
Dude, they're like out of this world from what I hear.
I'm just not following it though. Like, I mean, I probably should. Like, the kids are following it right now, and I'm like, okay, which is
Yeah,
surprising.
well, I
They're
mean, I'm not
more.
following it either, but I just always hear that, like, like a lot of the Europeans, like, they take like soccer like super, super seriously. Like, unlike
Yeah.
over here, we're just kind of like, it's fine.
Well, that's their football. It's the original football. So
Yeah, exactly. So I get it, but it's interesting though.
yeah. Well, but we have a lot of people here in the states who take soccer seriously. They play it for fun. I feel like it's a shame that I'm not more into soccer because I feel like it's a great opportunity to like chat and talk with people. And like it's a thing that a lot of people do, like, oh, let's go play soccer at the field or something. Like there's always people on a soccer field playing soccer. But like you could do the same thing with basketball, I guess. But
Yeah. Okay, by the way, I got my list challenge thing up. So there was 176 games on the list, on the PS1 list, and I got 106.
say it again.
Okay. So on the PS1 list challenge thing, the one that I took,
Yeah.
there was 176
Okay.
like on the list. And I scored 106.
Wow, that's interesting. You could make like the coolest, like, I bet you never played these games list.
I could. I actually did make one for like animes and such, but
Mm.
like I just haven't like actually like recorded a thing doing it.
I'm really basic with my animes, but I'm enjoying watching a few right now because I go through it seasonally. Like I like watching anime and then I don't like watching anime. But right now, I started the behemoth of One Piece,
Oh
and
god.
I know, but I'm just watching it casually. And then also, I don't know if you watched it, but that new Ultraman is like really good.
Oh, okay. My only experience with Ultraman was that I remember back in the day, in like, the early 2000s, they had an Ultraman series that was done by 4Kids,
Mm.
or at least 4Kids like localized it there. I forget the name of it though, but that's like my only experience with that. So,
Mm. Oh, so like the Kirby guys or like the Fox Box stuff.
yeah, yeah, it actually played on Foxbox back in that time. Yeah, it was like I said, I can't remember what Ultraman it was, but they just took a series and they just, localized it and everything. And that's my only experience of Ultraman. But yeah, as for the new one, I mean, what is it, the exact name of it there?
I don't know. It's just Netflix series. I think it's a Netflix exclusive, but it's just called Ultraman. But the animation is like it's like that kind of like high tech, like 3D looking animation. But the fight scenes are really good, and then there's a lot of like meta commentary that like I feel like every alien encounter is like a really big deal, and there's like some conversation about the role of Ultraman because it's I don't know how much you want me to go into narrative and stuff, but I can give you basics. Like it's a son, it's the son of Ultraman, being Ultraman, and so like there's conversations about the importance or significance of being an Ultraman. And I really like it. It's like really thought provoking and it tugging at the emotional strings. So I'm into it.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Ultraman is one of those series that, like, obviously I know a lot, like, about it from other people, but I never really experienced it myself outside of, like, the one I mentioned, which I barely remember it, but...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's always been like kind of a Japanese thing. Like, I mean, it's more like their national. I feel like it's their Superman.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate, yeah.
But yeah, I want to get more into it. I want to know more about Ultraman. Maybe like find a couple of games that'd be worth playing or something.
Okay, I actually have played, well, I've sort of played stuff that are loosely connected. Like, I know there's a game on, well, there's a few games on the Super Famicom called, The Great Battle, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And it's like this weird crossover game where it has Ultraman, Gundam, and Kamen Rider.
Ultraman, Gundam, and Kamen Rider. Yeah, Kamen Rider looks like Ultraman.
Yeah, and Kamen Rider I do have a little bit of experience with, but not much.
Okay. Well, so what kind of game was it?
They're all different, but from what I remember, like I think the third one was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and I think the fifth one was kind of like a Wild Guns clone, which is weird. Like you know Wild Guns, right? From Natsume.
Isn't that like kind of like the I don't know how you describe it. It's like the railgun looking one.
Yeah, it's like it's like the one where your character's in like the foreground and you're just like shooting at stuff.
Okay. An
Yeah, it's
Ultraman
basically
railgun
that.
game.
Yeah, they have a railgun game, and it's funny because like all like the mechs and stuff have like cowboy hats.
So how do you play? Do you play a railgun game with a controller?
Yeah, you play with a controller, and
That's,
yes, unfortunately, it's not like the most
that
intuitive.
sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can only really do railgun games in the arcade. I feel like even like that Wii Zapper or whatever. It's like, am I really gonna bust out the Wii?
yeah, no, I hear you on that. Yeah, no, like I said, like I never said that the Great Battle Fight was good, but
But it's a
it
game that you
kinda,
played. I understand. Yeah.
yeah, I tried it out because I thought it looked interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I think there's also like a top-down like navigational shooter game. Well, when I mean shooter, I don't mean like a shoot 'em up. I mean like you know a top-down like game where you just like run around, you shoot things.
Okay. Oh, like
I
Ikari
think
Warriors.
yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know one of the Great Battle games is like that too, but I forget which numbered one it is. But yeah, they have a couple. That's like another thing that were like that's like my only other experience of like Ultraman related things, just playing a bit of that.
Mm. Hey, you called Einhander Suckhander. Do you have something against it?
Yeah, that's a game like you know, you always hear all the time that it's like it's one of the greatest shoot 'em ups ever made.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
and
hear
I've
it like
tried
that
it
too. Yeah.
many times, and I'll be honest, every time I played it, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like because it has like that kind of like police kind of look to it, or like you got like the bad guys you're fighting. Like it's kind of like a dystopian thing or something. What don't you like about it?
Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and say that like the presentation I think is awesome. Like I love like the graphics, the music is great. Yeah, the setting is really cool. It even does try to have like a deep like story into it, even though it's like you know it's a shoot 'em up. Like who cares about the story? But you know, but the fact that they tried to have something like that, I do think is cool. So you know, all that type of stuff I think is all good. My main complaint with Iron Hander is that, well, for one, the game just starts out like way too fucking hard for like no reason. Like it's
Mm.
literally one of those games you're like you get hit once, you die, and then you gotta go through the fucking game over, and then it does the countdown. So there's no like lives or like continue. Well, I guess there is lives, but you know, but every time you die, you literally have to like go through the whole game over thing like every time. And of course, you die like so easily in that game. So yeah, like get used to it. And also, I just don't like the power ups either. I find a lot of them are just not great.
Yeah, yeah. That's you know what that's my only issue with the spaceship shooters right now is when I come across one where it's like okay, die and go back to a checkpoint. It's like that's brutally hard.
Yeah, no, like I said, Iron Hander is a lot like that. Like it's one of those games where like yeah, once you die, like you have to restart like a decent portion back, and then what was the other thing I remember about it that I wasn't like a fan of? Oh yeah, a lot of enemies in it too are like bullet sponges, and they take
Mm.
forever to kill.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's one of those games that like you know if it was like that towards like the end of the game, I could kind of understand it. But the fact that it's like literally the first stage, I'm just like no.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that. You know, there's a
Yeah,
game
like
I want to play that I want to like more, but I just suck at it. It's Biohazard Battle.
Oh yeah, I've tried that one out. I think that game's fine. It's not my favorite. I think a lot of people just like it because of the fact that you can play it two players, which yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that game's hard too.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That one's not even that cheap because you get like the 5 lives if you want, and you can use all 5 in the level. It's just that the hit detection is like super close, and like there's a lot of things you can run into on screen. So I usually end up having trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot of like shit flying across the screen that it's hard to avoid, yeah.
I feel like there's still like a tricky balance you have to achieve as a spaceship shooter game designer because you don't want your game to be like just like infinite lives, you know? Like I feel like you still have to work for it for the victory. But at the same time, you don't want it to be so difficult that you turn players off. Like we're not in like the arcade era anymore, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
Yeah. How do you feel about spaceship shooters in general?
Well, I enjoy them. I think they're fun. They're good, like, pick up and play type of games that you don't gotta, like, think about too much. I mean, you do gotta think about, like, obviously, like, trying to survive and not die, but, like, there's not, like, a whole lot of, like, stuff compared to, like, playing, like, an RPG or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. There is limitations in that though. It's like I mean, at the end of the day, it is still kind of simple, you know.
Yeah, but no, I like shoot 'em ups. Like I think they're cool and fun. A lot of them have like really cool like graphics and music, and they have like cool like little aesthetics to them that I like. And I mean another thing too is that like there's not that many like truly like bad like shoot 'em ups. Like there are some, of course, but there's not like that many compared to like the amount of like platformer games out there.
Oh gosh, yeah, platforming is hard because like the genre is so oversaturated.
Yeah.
What genres have you been enjoying lately?
Well, I know lately I've actually been playing Trails from Zero, which was the prequel Trails game that came out recently for the first time in English.
Okay.
I know that I've been playing a bit. That's mainly like my main game I've been playing, but I know I did play like one game I had on my Steam recently. What the hell was it? Uh Well, I did buy a couple Steam games recently that I actually do want to like try to like play through.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I bought like Soul Calibur 6 on PC again,
Ooh, yeah, I
just
just
so I
bought
have
it
a
on
more.
PS4.
Yeah, I still have my PS4 version, but the thing is, like, I don't have like online anymore. So like, and because most people I knew that had Soul Calibur 4 or not 4, 6
Hmm.
on PS4, they don't really play it anymore. So.
Yeah, and PS4 is annoying because you got to activate your like account or whatever.
Yeah, PS Plus, yeah, it's fucking stupid. But I won't go into that, but but yeah, no, like I have it on PC just because I have a like, a way that a more convenient way for me to play it like anytime I want.
I
And plus it was
love
like dirt cheap.
Oh yeah, I love that first Soul Calibur game. You know, it just has that kind of arcade beauty, and it's like a really well polished game. Talk about intros that I don't skip. I love that first game's intro, and
Oh
then
yeah, no, I love the Soul Calibur intros. My favorite
mhm.
one, weirdly enough, is the one on PS1 called Soul Blade.
Still haven't tried that.
Yeah, the intro to that one is like really like cheesy, but it's awesome.
That's a really good game.
It's a good one. Obviously it's not as good as like the later games in terms of like how fast and smooth it is, because it kind of plays a little bit more like the early Tekkens, because it was from that time.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still fun for what it is. It's not like unplayable. It's not like awful, but it's definitely like if you've played like the later games and then go back to that one, you can definitely tell it's like okay, this is definitely an older game.
I gotta tell you though, I'm not crazy about 6.
No, I mean that's fair. I mean the thing about six is that well, one doesn't have a whole lot of content, but you can really say that about most modern fighting games, sadly.
Yeah, it's it feels like a little, I don't want to say lazy, but like underdeveloped or like just kind of like a rushed product. Like I feel like the story is just like a bunch of text screens and then like there's no opening cinematic for the game. I just found it very bizarre.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is no opening. I forgot about that. Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
yeah, the story mode, like, I think the story is interesting because it's basically like a reboot of the whole series. But yeah, like, I kind of wish it had like actual like cutscenes, not just like, visual novel looking stuff.
I think Soul Calibur 2 did the same thing. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong. And then Soul
well,
Calibur 2 story mode like reused like dungeons and stuff. So you'd be doing the same fights throughout the game.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The story mode in Soul Calibur 2 was interesting because yeah, you had like that map, and then you just did like random missions with scenarios and what have you.
Hmm.
And then I remember there'd be like some of them where you'd go into like a dungeon, and then every like box you'd go over, you had to fight like a dude.
Yeah, it would always be Voldo or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I know. Usually for me, it was either like Lizard Man, Berserk,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Assassin.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I like so like I have that nostalgia for Soul Calibur, but then like the later ones don't do it for me, so it's weird.
The main reason why I bother playing with the newer ones is really because I love the character creation.
Mm, I can see that.
Yeah, because I just love creating characters and making them fight each other. I don't know. There's just like something about doing that. That's just a lot of fun for me.
Hmm.
That's mainly the reason why I like a lot of the newer ones. Like, I just wish they had like more game modes to do more stuff with them outside of just playing like versus matches and just going online.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's why I love 3 a lot, because 3 you can actually utilize a lot more to your created characters. Like, they had that one mode that's like a strategy RPG basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that mode. I wish they'd bring that back, but they don't.
Aw, Soul Calibur, bring it back.
Yeah, I hope so, but I know they won't because they're all like, oh, we have to make it like, well, like online because we need to compete with esports and blah blah. But that's another whole thing I'm not gonna get into.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you feel about like the future of video games?
Sorry, I had to drink of water there. Um, um, Man, that's a hard question because I mean, I think there's going to be some good and bad. Obviously, when it comes to like the bigger AAA stuff, I think the more they start getting away with like a lot of these bullshit things, like the whole like NFT things that like that Terry was talking about there.
Oh,
Like, I
this
think a lot
Malta,
more
but yeah.
companies are going to start like abusing that more if more people are more accepting on buying them. Same thing with microtransactions, because you remember when those first started to appear in video games, everyone was hating on them, but then there were also people that were also buying them, and now like you're seeing that way more in video games now compared to like when it first started.
Mm.
And I have a feeling from here on out, like a lot of these like big developers are going to start like using their I guess you could say their fan base, so to speak, to like test out like weird stupid things like that.
Hmm.
So I think in that respect, I think a lot of like that type of shit is going to be kind of bad. But the good thing I will say, and this is like the one positive thing I'll bring up, is that from here on out, I do think like now we do get a better chance at getting a lot of these like quirky, weird Japanese games getting released over here. Because back in the day, like there wasn't really much of a market for that type of stuff. Or now there definitely is. So I feel like now there's a lot like better chances of getting all these like really old like cool games that we missed out on back then getting a chance of getting like revived. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but there is a Japan only PS2 game that literally came out like a couple months ago, and it was a
Mm.
game that like literally no one talks about, and I'm just like, oh wow, like that's surprising. Like, you know what, if that game can get a chance to come out over here, literally anything else can.
What was it called?
It was called like Kawaii Way of the Thief.
Hmm.
It was like a it's almost like a Tenchu type of game, but it was Japan only originally.
Okay.
I know NIS published it over here recently.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
Like I
good
said, a
thing
game that like
too.
literally no one talks about like back when it came out because it wasn't over here, and they just brought up random was like, "Yep, we're gonna be making it over here."
Well, that's the thing is like I feel like even though the triple A's are kind of like shit in the bed, even Nintendo now,
Yeah.
I feel like you still have these like third party tier publishers that are like really bringing us games. Like I was really impressed by Enon Games, IN. They brought us like G Darius and the Darius Cosmic collections, and they've also got like other. I think they did Pocky and Rocky Reshrined.
Oh yeah.
So I'm constantly just like, wow, we really got this game. Like I feel like for a long time, like just even 5-6 years ago, like in the West, we didn't really have a legitimate way to play a lot of these games.
Well, you're exactly right. Yeah, like most of those games, like if they came out over here, like it probably would have been like digital only.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
also,
Go ahead.
oh what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and yeah, like Pocky and Rocky, like like I love those games. Like I think they're great. But yeah, for the longest time, like those games were not easy to get a hold of. I mean, they're still not easy to get a hold of now because the Super Nintendo carts are expensive as shit.
Yeah.
But now that we have that newer one, Reshrined, which I do have, and it is actually really good. Yeah, like like it's cool to see like a new one get brought back.
Mm-hmm. I actually think a lot of the retro stuff is losing its appeal because of like how good the modern stuff is. Like I think people are really turned on to like you're like Live Alive. Like I feel like that modern art style on like the retro like video game
Yep.
has become really popular.
Yeah, like that's another good thing I will say too. Yeah, you just reminded me. Yeah, Live Alive. Like that's a game I'm glad we actually have, and I was actually able to experience it like legit. Even though not like I had a problem with playing it through an emulator. I mean, I never tried it on there just because I was always sidetracked with other games. But when that got announced, I was like, well, you know what? I would rather support these like projects rather than like the AAA shit. So
And that's a Super Famicom game, right? That wasn't even
yep,
localized.
yep. It was Japan only. Yep, Super Famicom. Yep. And yeah, no, I played through that and I beat it and it was good. It was a good game. Though I do think it does have like some parts that I think could have been a little bit better, but for the most part I was pretty satisfied with it.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah, I think given the time, I'd eventually like to play it, but I'm RPGs are so hard because like you really got to focus on a couple at a time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I already
I,
have plans about like what will I play after I finish Dragon Quest 6, It's like I
yeah, that's
can't
true.
just sneak like freaking, Trails of in there,
No. Yeah, I'm actually pretty close on finishing Trails from Zero. I will say that. And honestly, that game's actually not as long as some of the other games, I will say.
Hmm.
I mean, it's still like not short, but it's not as long as like the Cold Steel games. And I'm just like, wow, like I'm already at like the final chapter and I'm like 30 something hours in. Like,
Hmm.
damn. Because normally those games are at least like 40 to 50
Yeah.
plus. But yeah, this one it's like 30 and I'm just like, yeah, this is like a PS2 RPG. I'm
That's
down with
nice.
that.
Yeah, definitely. 30's manageable. I feel that way about like the Yakuza games too. Like they're 30 hours, so you get good substance in them. I'm playing Judgment right now, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I could do this.
I always wanted to play Judgment, but it kind of came out at a time when I was like busy with like other shit. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll pick it up later, and I still haven't, but I want to though because it does look really good.
It's what I like is that it's not another Yakuza game necessarily. Like it has the engine, but it's like detective based. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's what I like about it. It looks interesting and different. Like it still has like a similar like fighting mechanics, but of course it's done in a different way.
Hmm. Yes, that's my recommendation right now, but I'm still working through it. I can't draw any big conclusions, but I know it was really popular for its time too.
Wait, for which?
For Judgment, like they made a sequel. You know,
Oh yeah.
I feel like, but the only downside is that it feels like it doesn't feel like there's too many games like that, like in that engine, but there's a lot. when you have like the 7 mainline Yakuza games, you have Like a Dragon, you have Fist of the North Star, you have Judgment, you have Lost Judgment, and then I feel like I'm missing one. But they're all basically like the same style. That can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I kind of hear you on that. Like, I know when I was like playing through the Yakuza games that were released on PS4, like I stopped at like I beat the third one, but I'll be honest, I haven't jumped into the fourth one yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of was like, okay, I need a break from the series. I definitely do want to get back into it, but just needed a break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understandable. It's a lot of plot, and it's a lot to absorb all of that. And
Yeah, a
then
lot
I,
of reading, and
I
then there's a
think
lot
like
of like side content to them as well. Not like you have to do them, but like some of them are fun to do.
yeah, the tone of the main stories is often like a bit serious too. So like that can be a lot.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is.
Hmm. I'm gonna start wrapping up here. I'm thinking of streaming in a bit though, maybe playing a game.
Oh, right on.
I don't know, but I don't know what to play.
Well, I don't know what you have access to, but
Well, I mean, my Xbox is hooked up so I could go to Twitch. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look for my Elgato. It's floating around here somewhere, but I could do some Switch or some. Maybe I could hook up the GameCube or something. I don't know.
I mean, whatever is cool with me.
Yeah, I feel like you know what? I want to play something that like I know well, and then like I can really like just kind of casually play and just enjoy. But the thing is like I would play more Klonoa. I'm digging into the first game right now, but I just feel weird doing that on stream. Like I kind of just want to experience it like off stream.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I know sometimes I do that too, where I prefer to just play certain games like on my own without streaming. I mean, there are some that like I don't like mind playing for the first time for whatever, but yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna go from experience. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see if I even stream. I might go bowling tonight. But
Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm back. I'm here streaming currently.
Yeah. I actually like that bowling clip that you did for the button mappers. It was different.
Yeah, thanks. I was thinking of doing like as I get better, maybe recording more stuff and doing a montage. It's crazy. I got a little coaching over the weekend, and when you see my leg floating up, the back leg, some bowlers do that, but it's really not great. So I got in my coaching, it tells me I have to like slide a little bit more into the shot and let my body kind of jerk the bowling ball down the lane.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna try and show that in like a video or something. I was thinking of maybe doing more bowling clips for the main channel.
Yeah, okay, no, that'd be fine by me. Yeah. I mean, it's something different and something interesting. I mean, I like bowling. I haven't bowled in a long time, but every time that I've bowled in the past, I've always had fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad that we share the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we link up someday, we can go bowling party.
Oh, I can't. I just reminded me of from GTA 4 with the main dude's cousin. He would always call you at like the most inconvenient times, and he'd be like, "Hey, cousin, let's go bowling." uh,
It's funny.
funny.
All
But no,
right,
seriously
Chris.
though, like I think that'd actually be cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you.
All right. Yep.
And I guess I'll sign off for the stream. Thanks everybody for joining. And yeah, we got some content lined up. I'll post some of these things, maybe the Q&A and the discourse.
Yeah. Take it easy, everyone.